Welcome to another Dev Chat. I am CCP Monty, joined this time around with CCP Myrkur and CCP Hank. Welcome, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
So, we're talking about how Eve is always going to look better and better and better and better today. There's a big update coming up with the Eve Evolved patch. And, the Eve Evolved initiative now just always introducing the new technology, new visuals, just ever progression. And maybe just to kick it off, I mean, Eve is now in its third decade. So how important is it to continuously evolve, update, keep in touch, more fidelity?
I think it's super important. And it's a huge part of what we do on the art team, continually evolving, modernizing, and making the game now more dynamic and reactive visually than before. Before it was very static, and we always want, if you're pushing a button in the game, something should happen, right, on the screen. You want something exciting, and especially when you attack other people, you want to actually see some stuff happen.
Yeah, especially looking at all the ships, and I just remember through the years, all the additions, be it ships or stations, something like that, the interactions happening. There's a animation sequence that happens when you launch a fighter or you shoot a gun or something like that, which just makes the storytelling so much more immersive.
Yeah,
right.
And now with I've got two favorites that are coming out with the new update now and the new assets that are going to be in it. And if we just kind of kick it off, there are systems there that get included now, but my definite favorite is Fire in Space.
Yeah, that's been a long time coming. This actually used to be in the game in the beginning, and then went out, I think, with the Trinity release. 2007, but it's actually one of my core memories of playing Eve is I was stranded behind the enemy lines after a long night, 3 a.m, and I wake up the morning after to end up just alone in enemy space, and I have 30 jump to go back, and so I just start jumping one jump at a time, and then I'm pissing my pants, scared because I'm alone.
As you should in the morning in enemy space.
Right after the server comes up, just to be like, oh my God. And then one jump by jump, I get, closer to safety, but then somebody finds me. And every other jump, he gets a little closer. And then by the time, then I start losing health. And let's just say I end up finding a station a couple jumps away. And I'm losing health steadily as more and more people are gaining on me. And I end up managing basically to dock at this station with 1% health left and my ship on fire. And that's just like a core memory of like shaking, and this, the PvP sweats or whatever, but I wasn't going to fight because I'm just trying to survive. And that's one of the reasons why, at least I've been trying to push this feature since I started on the VFX a long time ago. And it's super nice to finally be able to make it happen, because this, like, having this just a little extra visual feedback in the PvP in the game, it can add so much
Absolutely
to just the experience of these moments that become like, core moments for people of playing the game.
Also just for the visual storytelling afterwards, if people are recording or such. But, and I mean, we have the hull damage, you see the damage on the ships and stuff, but it's not really something you see when fighting.
No.
So smoke and fire.
Yeah, nice to see something from a distance. Also just super nice to, like, actually, the moment somebody goes into hull damage, to be able to see at a glance, let's say you're jumping into a fleet fight or a skirmish, let's say, at a gate, and you can just see immediately that guy over there is on fire. That means he's in hull damage. Maybe I should shoot him first, or maybe I should wrap him first.
Get the kill mail. Sneak him in.
The bonfire is primary, something like that. Was there a technical reason that we are introducing this now and removed it at the time, or?
This is actually one of my first meetings when I joined like 6 years ago. It was Andre talking about this feature, and I believe he did one of the tech demos on Vegas,
Yeah.
Vegas.
Vegas 2019.
So it's been a long time coming, and now we have a few systems that makes it at least easier to apply. We have the propagation system, and we have 2 different particle emitters on there, right?
Yeah.
Both GPU and CPU particles. So it's those have existed, but there have been reasons why it was a long time coming for sure.
On the topic of systems, because this is obviously something that is constant, and especially in the Eve Evolved series, it's also an internal thing for us to make sure that we're always pushing new technology, new systems, and a lot of the things that gets implemented and added to the whole just client of the project are these behind the scenes tools for also just developers to use to faster create and such. And one of the things that is getting added now, which players might not feel it immediately, is the smart light system. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Because when I think smart lights, I'm thinking like my Philips Hue or something like that. And
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think
is it basically that, or
yeah, sure. It's
so we're finally doing LEDs in space.
Oh yeah, you should be able to add your ship into Google Home, and then you just click it, and it goes bloop, 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 bloop.
Good night, everyone.
Yes, that'd be great. Now, essentially, it's a system that it was created mostly for the artist rather than being more player facing, because when we do skins and when we do assets and everything, a lot of work, like multiple days, is spent for the VFX artists and people making our skins, hooking up things, doing manual binding, and you would often have large objects with great complexity, having hundreds or in some cases even thousands of bindings just to take each and every variable of a thing. And let's say when your ship takes damage, the activation strength goes down a bit. You would want the lights to flash. With old, legacy systems, it would mean that if you would want the light to flash, you'd have to individually go and hand select every single light, every single visible lighting asset on the ship, and manually bind to it both the brightness value, if you'd want the color to change, if you'd want the size of it to change. All of these can affect how the visual representation of your ship is. And the system is created so instead of having to manually bind things into the lights, you basically craft a recipe for the lights and you craft behaviors. So you create an asset that's, for example, when the activation strength goes down, or when my ship takes damage, or when I dock in a station, I want this to happen. And all you have to tell it is, I want the color to go from yellow to blue. And then you take that recipe, you add it to multiple hulls. So we have hundreds of cruisers. And if we would want to add functionality to it to have the lights do bloop, 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 bloop when you warp, which is an unreal example, but it would mean that you just have to update the recipe essentially, and immediately the change would propagate to all of the ships.
So in many ways, this is a tool for or a toy, I would rather say, for the artist to just create a little bit more immersion on just everything, basically.
Sure, and then in my experience, when we do these power enhancers, when we make them faster and able to do more, they actually do more. Or that has been my experience. When I make tools that gives Andre the opportunity to go faster, he does make more. So everybody wins. It's also less of the tedious work. It's probably not your favorite, having to manually bind everything.
No, not when it's hundreds of things
and
per ship.
Yes, and the responsibility of, if you have to update something and you have to manually dig through all of those 100 bindings, it can be a bit of a spaghetti. It's almost like when people talk about spaghetti code, we sometimes have spaghetti VFX, which can be hard to maintain and update. So the hope is that we, in the future, it's much more iterable and we can add to it without it being a headache.
I think it's intriguing to think about it, and already like a lot of things popping into my mind. I'm thinking about, like you were mentioning there, does the ship react to what's happening to it? Is it like at the same time as I'm hearing the armor warding is, you know, a red light basically just blinking on the ship that is then activated by it, or will there be more? Just like the smoke and fire basically gives me more immersion on what's happening. Definitely lighting, and especially when we think about it, just anything we've seen in sci-fi or you know, even just naval movies or whatever. There's no submarine about to explode that does not have a blinking red light. We all know that. You know, it's like make the last seconds a little bit better, but
or worse.
Yeah, but yeah, probably. But it's like. There's probably a lot of things that can come with this that without realizing I am getting a lot more immersion. Like as a player or as a user, I probably don't even realize that they're there, but they're giving me this sense or this feeling.
And it's just so much easier with the system once we have it on all the ships to just be like, okay, every single MR ship is not going to be able to have different colored lights when you're docked.
Yeah.
You know, just change the mood of the thing. We can add that super easily. But then we have to get to the point where we have actually added this to all the ships, which is a bit of work. But it's at least way faster and easier than before.
So we'll do a Live to Feed Christmas special where we got blinking ornaments just going all over the ships and stuff like that. Sounds good.
Yeah, sure, definitely.
Yeah, we've got dev budget for that, right?
I mean, now it's quicker to create, so we're more likely to have the budget for it.
And the other bonus, of course, is that like this is way more performant than the way we were previously doing this. And it's always, all of it is just to make the game more dynamic and, you know, visceral.
Yeah,
reactive to what you're doing.
We're really happy about it. In the early tests, it showed that we took an example of some of our recent skins. So the Chinese New Year's, it's Year of the Snake. There are these blinking circle lights.
Yep.
So with the legacy systems, you would have to animate them one by one. You would have to have a controller for the state, and you would have to have a curve set binding to all of the things to have them go in a circle. And then it's a skin made by Tamper. Looks awesome. I highly recommend checking it out. But the lights, they change state based on if you go into a hangar, if you're in a warp, and they alternate both the rhythm and the color and everything. And those have controllers, curve sets, and hundreds of bindings. So I remade that. Sorry. I remade that in the new system just to have an AP on just those circle lights. And they only took 1/5 of the memory, CPU, everything. Mostly because we could drop the curve set and controllers and just have the logic just stay within the lights themselves.
And then you could have a similar logic just being moved over to another design or another light or something like that, and kind of create it's super interesting. I no pressure, but I can't wait to see what you guys bring out with that. And pairing it with, especially if it's like the reactive stuff, pairing it then with things like the smoke and fire, and then we have the hull damage and all those things, plus obviously just explosion VFX and everything. It sounds like dying is going to be a very visually pleasing thing, and
as it should be.
Yeah, that's the only kind of issue. It's like we don't we need to have this like, oh, do you automatically want to zoom in on the target you were about to blow up? So it's not always just like, wow, my thing was spectacular, my explosion here. Now, when there's fire, you need firefighters. And we bring in Bob.
Yeah, we bring in the Bobs.
So who is Bob?
Who is Bob? Well, it's more like...
what is Bob? Yeah.
Well,
Bob has feelings, so I'd rather not,
There's many of them.
Yeah.
Hundreds of thousands, I guess, across
But everybody will have a
cluster.
favorite. Everybody will have a favorite Bob.
Yeah. Well, there is the door Bob, or the technical Bob on the small platform in the Apple hangars, which was kind of the first, like Bob.
I do remember the first one, the actual first one you called the Bob. And most players probably don't even know it exists.
Oh.
Do you know which one I'm talking about?
I'm not sure.
So there might be a Bob on deactivated gates somewhere, but that's more of a...
Yeah.
Trying to get them up and running, or...
Yes.
Just potentially.
Yeah,
well, that was the first one you did call a Bob.
Just roaming
it's
there, trying to fix a gate they will never be able to fix just because they were programmed to do that.
Something.
Yeah, it's one guy trying to escape.
He doesn't have a bracket. He's just Trying to kickstart the gate.
Yeah, a little Easter egg. CCP school bus.
I'm going to
Also.
watch it now.
Yeah, he's only there on certain hours of certain days. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Bobs are mysterious.
Yeah. So some Easter eggs are, in my opinion, almost too hard to find, but the players know about many of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean they're all over. It's kind of what happens. But we got fire bobs now.
Yeah.
Fire bob is that's got to be the most hardcore bob.
It's one of the most hardcore pops that we know of so far. Definitely. And it's just like what. Ships are on fire now. You're gonna go into the station. Can't keep it on fire forever. It doesn't. I mean, that's not secure safety for the station.
No.
So we gotta have the fire bobs coming in and putting out those fires. And then after they put them out, then we have just a little bit of lingering smoke, from those places it was on fire. So you can tell that the ship is still damaged. You're still in hull damage. And you could describe these fire bobs basically as repair bobs, which are also coming, but with fire extinguishers strapped to their sides.
Yeah.
Most dangerous bobs because they can't get fired.
Yeah, and I mean they oh my god.
I'm sorry.
No, it was beautiful. What a way to wow. That was one hell of a bob. Yeah. But they are basically just cute little fire trucks.
Yeah, cute little fire trucks in the hangars that come to your rescue. And
did you guys get a field day at the local fire station or fire brigade to take photos and stuff? And
I did Google images of Icelandic fire trucks.
Yeah,
just to get the color scheme right.
Yeah. They are red.
Yeah, they are red and the right shade of like yellow with slight green.
Okay. No plans on including sound effects on them? Getting a little bit of a wee when they roll into
that. Not on these, I think, but the little doorbot guy on the small platform, he actually has a little bit of his own music that the audio guys did, which is like really nice. So that music plays when he comes out of those doors.
I think they also added some audio effects to the repair ones, which are coming up as well.
There is definitely some audio.
Yeah, so bobs are basically filling this void. People have been asking this question for years. I hit repair. What happens?
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame. I mean, basically forever you hit the button and it just goes bloop. Oh, you're repaired.
What about when people tether? Don't we need a swarm of bobs to just engulf the ship and start fixing it? Think a racing pit stop, basically.
Yeah, I could cause some performance issues if there's a lot of guys coming at the same time.
You get many tethered. And there's a limited amount of bobs, but no. I like this. We like the bobs. We gotta make a bob plushie or something for FanFest.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's not a bad idea.
Like, who wouldn't want to cuddle with Bob? I would.
Bring your own Bob.
Bring your own Bob.
Bob.
Yeah.
Bob.
So there's one question that has been always asked, and now when we move into the more technical stuff, we're talking about the smart lighting, we're talking about the smoke and fire, etc. Performance-wise, so how do we balance this? Because it sounds like this should be a performance killer.
Yeah, you would think so. But relative, at least, the thing, at least in terms of like what the cost to render on the GPU, it's like what is the size of it on the screen mostly and the complexity of the shaders. So most of the time, like the ships you're attacking are not right in your face. And in the space scene, they're usually at a bit of a distance or, in depth in space in like a combat. So it doesn't really hit the performance that much at all for that.
And then we know that people that are going into very big flights, they enable the toaster anyway, or the potato.
And even if they don't enable the potato, a new thing we added for this suspension is that we exposed the shader setting of the client to the controller, which means that even if you're just on low quality and not full potato, the VFX guys, they can choose to load things depending on your shader quality. So the fires, they aren't even loaded when you're in...
You're more low.
Well, yeah.
Shader quality.
So if you're going into a really huge fleet, fight and you tune the graphics down and you still want to see the beautiful game you're playing, it's not going to load the files. So 0 impact there on performance.
If we start looking into like future music, there's a few things that I would want to touch on. One of them being, for example, with the smart lighting. Is there any future where players could control some elements of their ship?
Oh, I'd have to be careful, but all of this is just speculation, of course. But this system definitely makes it easier for players or for artists and anyone to quickly replace a lot of things. For example, the color that we talked about earlier. So you could have a color scheme, maybe. So it's obviously just up to what the players, CSM, devs, gameplay teams, everything is asking for and wants to. But in theory, we could have it.
Potentially a hull could have lights, and we go into Skinner.
Sure.
And it has... It's got a LED strip all the way around, and I could apply colors or such to it, or possibly even an effect.
Yeah, in the future, for sure. This is all set up so that you can, in the future...
We're in the part of the discussion now where we can talk about things we would want to see without it being a promise. Sure. I know that you listening always think it's a promise, but I'm trying to pump. Uh-huh. No, but like I can just see the glory of a 100 person Drake fleet warping in, and it's all got strobe lights on.
That'd be awesome.
Some other element of annoying, but yeah.
Well, I've been a long time advocate of that we should have space horns in the game, so annoying is not a concern. Yeah. I think you should be able to press a button on a keyboard and it goes.
And imagine if it would also have a lighting effect to it or something like that. But yeah, definitely. Oh, and you could actually. The three of us were out roaming together, and we could have different tones. Yeah. So we could play
a symphony.
Yeah.
We could bring in the Titan for the bass.
This is where the important stuff happens.
Yes. Absolutely.
And I mean, if you can't even look good or something like that because you've downscaled everything, you can at least sound good.
Oh, that's a good point.
It's one way of looking at it. Mm. No, but from the VFX, the animations, all that stuff with the smoke and fire, etc. Is there a lot of things lined up? Is there are there a lot of things that are we seeing more new stuff coming up in the next few years?
There's always things to improve, especially in regards to gameplay readability. Like we did with the missile impacts. Just making it super obvious what is what to the player. And in the future, it's just going to be more of that gameplay readability improvements, as well as just telegraphing better what the state of things is. So one thing that we're looking at into the moment for maybe sometime in the next years, who knows, is the warp disruption bubbles, being able to much more easily just tell from a distance, like you're actually inside this.
Yeah.
At the moment they just sit there. So being able to just see at a glance that, oh, I am actually inside this one, and I'm not inside that one, or those other 20. And that when you're inside it, you can also tell more easily, I am actually inside this. So stuff like that, for sure.
Yeah, a huge net coming around my ship with the webifier, and I really enjoyed it when I started playtesting Vanguard. It's obviously now getting always closer and closer to the big Operation Nemesis, but seeing these VFX and EVE items basically being moved into a boots on the ground scenario where it's really cool to see, and I think a lot of you people will enjoy that. I guess there's not much to add now, unless you guys have something more you wanna share with us at this when I put you on the spot.
No, I don't think so. Just enjoy blowing stuff up.
Yeah, and having Bob fix it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any new Bob coming?
We should have a dirt map cleaning Bob when you clean your ship, because bring in the wind
Power
fibers.
wash simulator Bob.
So that's been an idea. There's a lot of ideas for new Bobs.
Yeah.
The TTP on that is really short though.
Oh, That's
Yes.
For those who understand.
That's
Yes.
fine. It's balanced by time to flower, which is the other thing.
There we have it.
You can always
Solutions. Enjoy seeing your stuff on fire, I guess. Myrkur, Hank, thanks for coming around.
No,
And
absolutely.
we'll catch you all next time.